Hey guys, welcome back. So it's been a little while since I've done an update. Been very busy with Christmas and kids sports and things like that, but wanted to kind of update everyone on the state of my salad operation. And as per usual, I can't really leave stuff alone, so I've kind of modified my rigs a little bit, tweaked here and there for just optimization, which I find doesn't really do anything, but it makes me feel better that I'm doing everything I can to get the most that I can out of salad. And so, just the sort of summary of my rigs here. So, I've got a 4070 with a 4350G, and I think that's new. I think I changed out the GPU here in the last like month or so. I got this 3090 Ti MSI Gaming X Trio, and I've got this on a i7 8700 rig, so this was a 4080. And I'm running every rig at least 64 gigabytes of RAM, but some have 128. I don't think there's any difference at all, so I haven't really tried to like push 128 into each rig. But, I'm kind of surprised because I really wanted a 3090 Ti to compare to my 3090. And I know the 3090 Ti gets like 3 cents more per hour than the 3090, which is a little crazy to me. Like that's a big difference. It's like what, almost 30% difference between a 90 and a 90 Ti. So I wanted to give it a try and just see how busy that it stayed. And just kind of shocked that it's really hardly ever gets any workloads. It does on occasion. It does get some really nice workloads, but they don't ever last very long. So I've got, let's see. Yeah, I've got this KVM switch. I finally don't have like four mice sitting here, and I got this KVM. It's really nice. I just use one mouse. And so right now it's on a 10-cent job. And that's about the state of what it usually gets. 10 cents, 10 cents, 10 cents, 10 cents. Like, this is a 3090 Ti with the i7 8700. It's a 6-core, 12-thread processor, so, I mean, it's not like it's the worst processor I could put it on. See, it does get some 453s over here. Occasionally get a 500, but see, it doesn't last very long. These are all 5-minute intervals, so you might 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, so less than an hour of uptime on that workload. So yeah, anyone kind of looking at maybe overpaying a little bit for a 3090 Ti, just don't do it. Luckily I got this for a really good deal. I think I paid $650 for this thing, and I just wanted a 90 Ti. I just the cost of business, I guess, to just see. And I've got another 90 Ti. It's an EVGA for the Win 3. I was running that on my test bench, but ended up just going ahead and putting it in my main gaming PC because I just, for some reason, really wanted a 3090 Ti. I think that's like the perfect card for me, for what I do. Have the 24 gigabytes of VRAM and, has similar gaming power to a 4070 Ti Super. So that's just perfect. I don't need a 4090 or anything like that for my gaming PC. I hardly game. So that's that rig. And this rig, I have the 4070 Strix, and it's paired to a i3 9100, and it's got 64 gigs of RAM. And this rig, I noticed I have two 4070s, this dual and this Strix. And I've noticed that when a 4070 gets a container, the other 4070 gets a very similar container about the same time. So they do get pretty decent. Let's see, what is this? Number 3. Right now, it's not doing anything. Everything's kind of slow today. It's the weekend. I kind of figure that. But it gets some 262s. I've $1.30s. That's more for the RAM than the actual GPU. But I do see this on the 4070, these 330 containers. And this one had one for quite a while. That's at least a few hours. So, yeah, 4070s are not a bad card for salad. in case you're wondering. Now the Strix is overkill, so I may look, if I end up selling a GPU, to sell the Strix, because I know they go for a premium, and maybe I can sell that, flip it into another 4070 or a 4070 Super, just so I have that in my arsenal, because I don't have a 4070 Super currently, and I don't think it'll really matter, but I want to have one of each card, so I just kind of know what the full range is on the 30 and 40 series. And then on to the next rig. This is my 4080 MSI Ventus. That was the one that was sitting here in this vertical setup. Oh, and also, look at this. 3D printed this thing here for support, and it's like kind of bending a little bit. It's just hanging on for dear life. But it's working, so whatever. And so yeah, so got this 4080. It's on I believe it's on a 3300X. Let's go ahead and switch to that one. And the 4080 stays pretty busy right now. It's on a bunch of 10-cent containers, but as you can see, it was on this $4.53 container for several hours. And $3. So 4080s do pretty good. Yeah, so 128 gigs of RAM, and what is that processor? It's a 3300X. Another thing I want to kind of point out is the CPU doesn't really matter at all. You can 3300X is 4-core, 8-thread, I believe, and it just, you could have a 12-core, you could have a 4-core. Like, I feel like they get about the same amount of like containers. CPU doesn't matter. RAM doesn't really matter after 64, in my opinion. Maybe there's some kind of variance there between 64 and 128. I find 128 actually probably causes more problems than it does good. So anyway, that's the 4080 rig. It's probably 4080 compared to, I'll get to the top performing card here in a second, but 4080 is probably the second or third busiest card in my arsenal. So moving on, I've got these 3 rigs over here, and this is kind of my fluid rig. It is a, what is that? Oh, that's my X570S. I hate this motherboard. This was in my gaming PC, and this motherboard, it's actually very nice, but a couple of years after I owned it, it will not shut down. If you go to start and shut down, it shuts down and then immediately clicks on, and then it goes black screen, and then I have to like hard reset my computer, turn it back on, go into BIOS, rechange, turn virtualization on, all that crap. It resets the BIOS. So this motherboard kind of sucks in that way, but it runs, and if I don't try to shut it down, it does everything I need it to do. So it's like, I don't really want to get rid of it. But that has a 5600X, which is something I changed, that has 64 gigabytes of really fast RAM. I think it's 3600 CL14. And I've got a 3080 on there currently. And you know what, I wasn't really expecting much. I got this 3080 in a deal, and I bought a couple of cards, my 4500, which I'll get to in a second. But the 3080, at least when I first started it, right now it's not looking great, but when I first started running it, it was getting like these nice containers, and it was staying busy. I honestly don't care if it has 10-cent containers. That just lets me know it's like in demand in some way, and it's busy. But yeah, see, it had this $1.32 container for quite a while, $1.30. So the 3080 was a little bit of a surprise to me in how busy it stays. And I've lost it. There we go. This thing scrolls so fast. But right now it's waiting for a job. Have I updated this? There's one I don't think I've updated yet. Actually, while it's calculating now, let's go ahead and update. And please don't error out while I'm updating you. That would be great. Occasionally an update will not finish the update, and I have to go get the new version of Salad off their website, and I have to download it, and then I have to uninstall the current version, reinstall the new version, and it's kind of a pain. This one is not doing that, thankfully. So we just installed that live, kind of, at least on a one-shot video. And perhaps this will change the chances of it getting jobs now. And I like, you've probably seen with like Brandon Coyne's videos, if you follow this type of stuff, if you watch him. But the new Salad update is actually like an update that you can tell is an update, because they added this, and I'm sorry for the airplane flying by, but they added this finding job thing, and it lets you know what the status is at the moment. Right now, it just updated, so it's probably not going to find a job right away. But it will tell you looking for job, downloading job, currently active on a job, stuff like that, which is really cool. If you don't have something like this, which I do recommend going to my Discord and finding this file. You download it, it's not a virus, I promise. And I pinned it to the Salad forum in my Discord, and you can see how much you're making I think it's set for every 5 minutes, but you can actually change the time. And so this has been a nice little accessory compared to just waiting and seeing your balance go up. So definitely recommend that. But this is nice that they updated this, and you can now see the status from Salad, what your computer is doing. And as you noticed, it just grabs something from the WSL. That's the other way that you can tell that you're getting some kind of workload, is we have communication with WSL. And so updated, as soon as I updated, a couple minutes later, boom, 3080 is getting a workload. So that's what you want to see. And then eventually you'll see it in the estimate. Probably not going to make a video long enough. No telling how long this takes to download. And it's done. So maybe it's like a 10-cent job or something. But we'll come back to that. And let's see, the next rig is this 4080 regular rig. It's 128 gigs of RAM. I haven't really touched this rig since I put it together. I haven't needed to modify anything. It's just I just kind of let it do its thing. As you can hear the Noctua fans ramping up. So a lot of times when I walk in my garage, I can hear that one rig. And if it's like, then I know that it's actually doing something. And currently it's on a 313 job. So you just keep on doing what you're doing. I probably shouldn't touch this rig. You know, I've kind of learned that once your rig is on a job, do not touch it by any means, but I'm doing this video, so that's what we're doing. And man, that's really like using up some 50, 60 megabits per second downloading. And then as you see, Salad is actively running a job on your hardware right now. So that's what we want to see. 4080 rig stays busy. I don't really touch it very much, just to check, make sure Salad doesn't do some weird stuff and decide to have a VRAM error or something dumb like that. And then, so we'll move on to the next and final rig, at least out here. And this is my 3090 rig. And I got some fancy RAM on it. A lot of times when I'm buying RAM and looking for deals, I just happen to run into RAM with RGB. I don't really care for it, but while I'm at it, I figured I'd make it look pretty cool. And this is a 3090 Tough. This is my busiest rig, my busiest GPU. The 3090 rig rarely ever doesn't have a job. And it's not even on like amazing hardware. It's like on an i5 8400. Look at that. 262. And the only reason that there's a gap in like workload here is because it like stopped for a while and said that it didn't have internet. And it's because I think I needed to update Salad or something, but it wasn't running. Look at that, man. 262. And I think I closed out of this when I updated everything, just so I had like a fresh start. But this thing stays busy. If there's one GPU that I would say like, hey, I want to do Salad, what's the best GPU to get? I pretty much wouldn't hesitate when I would say 3090 regular. This is the busiest rig, the busiest card, always has a workload, and it doesn't, like I said, it doesn't matter the CPU. Just get a 3090 and get a competent rest of your rig, 64 gigs of RAM. See, it's just 64 gigs, it's not even 128. Get that. I feel like this is like the perfect setup. I wish I had more 3090s. I don't really want to go source more 3090s, so I'll just kind of let it be. But yeah, 3090 rig stays busy all the time. Like, all the time. It's rare that it goes more than a couple hours without a container. And the CPU on this, yeah, i5-8400. I think I got this in a trade and I just threw it in there recently. So doesn't matter. But yeah, that is my current situation, at least in my garage, for the Salad containers. Right now it's kind of a slow day. 3090, don't tell him that, because it doesn't know any difference. But last night was actually pretty good. I think every rig was on a container at one time, either on a container or downloading a container, all at the same time. So, and then I've got one last and final rig. We'll get to that. And I'm not even gonna cut. I don't feel like editing this video, so we're just gonna go walk. And my office is kind of a mess here, but this is my test bench. You got this obnoxious CPU cooler still, but I had a 3090 on here. I had that 3090 that was in my garage on here at one point. Then I had a 3090 Ti. This rig is probably the most fluid of all my rigs. So this is the NVIDIA A4500. And I think it says that on here somewhere. I got this, my buddy had this card, and we both actually bought one from a guy on Marketplace at the same time. He bought one, I bought one. At that time, this was like if you look back in my old videos, this is the card that I had. I actually sold that like a month after getting it because it was a fairly high demand then. I made a little bit of money. But my buddy's been sitting on this card. He's had that 3080 and this A4500 sitting in his gaming rig, just collecting dust. He doesn't really game or anything. And I got this A4500 from him because I'm like, dude, do you still have that card? He's like, yeah, man, I'm just going to sell my whole gaming PC or whatever. He's like, I never play it. I was like, let me get that card from you. I want to know how it does on Salad. So a lot of you may be wondering, hey, Salad added support to the A4000, A4500, A5000. How does it do? And so I was also curious. I couldn't find very much information on that. And there's 64 gigs of RAM. This is a 5950X. And let's go ahead and activate it. I also got one of these mice. I'm trying this out. You don't really like move it around. It's just a little rollerball thing. It is kind of disappointing. And maybe Salad will add more like containers specific to this card later down the road, but all it seems to fetch are $1.30 containers. $1.30, $1.30, $1.30, 10 cent, 10 cent, $1.42, 10 cent, 20, $6.16. Yeah. So don't go out, in my opinion, do what you want, but don't go out spending a bunch of money on a A-series NVIDIA card. This has 20 gigabytes of GDDR6 VRAM, and that's the end of the line. So it's no slouch in the VRAM department. 20 gigs, kind of a weird number compared to like their commercial gaming cards, but still more than 16, which is kind of the majority of NVIDIA's card sales now are like that 16 range. But haven't had as much luck on this as I wanted. But we're going to stick to it. We're going to test it out. I'm going to give it a good month of testing and just see if things change. Perhaps while it's calculating, we'll go ahead and update this too. Sorry if that's loud on anyone's earphones, headphones. So we're going to update that. I find it's only one, version behind. So it's not I'm not just letting it go. But usually when there's a new update, I give it like a day or two, unless I've just got rigs that are just calculating and not doing anything, then what the hell. But we're going to update that and see if that changes the status, but I'm not really counting on it. And here we go. So I'll try to collect more data on this GPU and just keep y'all updated more. It's been kind of a crazy time, but once I think Christmas passes and all that, I'll try to get back to doing a little bit more like regular type videos and updates on Salad. And anyway, that's all I got for today. Thank you guys for watching. Sorry it's been a little while since I've given you an update. There really hasn't been much to say on Salad as far as like major changes or anything like that, except for this new update. So, you know, earnings, I don't think. Earnings have just kind of been mid. I thought I was going to end the video, but no. And yeah. Okay. Yeah. Earnings have been, you know, last 24 hours, last 7 days. So all these rigs combined, you know, at best I'm making a little bit more than $9 a day. And 30 days, you know, if I can make $12 a day, it's been a really good day in salad. That's with 8 rigs. So don't go out spending a bunch of money to make salad rigs. I already had a lot of this stuff and I made trades, several trades and ways to justify getting this equipment. If you're good at that stuff, by all means, but I wouldn't just like build a rig specifically for salad and spend, you know, $1,000, $2,000 on it, because it's going to take forever for you to get your money back. But, you know, if you've already got the equipment, or you've got most of the equipment, or you just, you know how to kind of be like savvy with trading and getting in and out of stuff, sure, go ahead and put it on salad and see how it does. But that's kind of my summation for salad, at least the last month. And yeah, if y'all have any questions, you know, hit me up in the comments. If you just tell me how your rigs are doing, if you've got one rig, multiple rigs, what have you found is kind of the best combination of equipment, components to kind of get the most out of salad? Curious to hear it. Maybe there's something I'm not doing. I would love to know that. And for now, that's all I have. Thanks again, guys, for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. If I don't see you before Christmas, have a Merry Christmas. And if I don't see you for New Year's, have a Happy New Year's also. But we'll try to get more videos out as the holiday season kind of passes us and things get back to normal. Until then, take care. Thanks for watching.